Namaste students. Now let us start with the first barrier to effective communication. The first is semantic barriers. Semantic barriers are also known as language barriers. Like the first semantic barrier is badly expressed message. Badly expressed message means that the message is not properly drafted. Means the words which we have used in the message, those words are wrong, or we have not used those words which should be used in the message to make it more appropriate. So it means that if we omit some required words, if we did not add some required words, or in place of those required words if we use some wrong words, then the message will not be drafted in the way it should be and will not be understandable to the receiver. So the first semantic barrier is badly expressed or poorly drafted message. Next is symbol with different meanings. You might have seen various words like whose pronunciation is same, but the meaning is different. Like prize and price, rain and rain, right and right. Right. So it means that these words, their pronunciation is same, but the spellings and their meanings are different. So suppose if I am sending a message to you, right, but you are not interpreting, or you are not try to getting the meaning of these words the way I want to make you understand. Like suppose if I said price but you understood it as price, then the meaning of the message will change drastically. The meaning of the message will change, right? So it means sometimes we use those words whose meanings are different, but sometimes the spellings are same. That. Next is superior says this is an ideal method. Now here the superior wants to say ideal method means a perfect method, but what subordinate understood or interprets that it's an ideal method. Here ideal means useless, right? The superior wants to say it's an ideal method, but in we don't ever say like this ideal. We say like we always say it's an ideal method, right? But he like superior wants to say a perfect method, ideal, but the subordinate understood it at ideal method, like idle. So the meaning of the message has been changed drastically. Next is sometimes we use such words whose the meaning varies with sentence to sentence. Like value of this book is 250 and I value our friendship. Here this word value represents the cost, but here this word value signifies the importance of the relationship, importance of friendship. So it means that while drafting the message, while encoding the message, the sender should should try to not to use such words like whose pronunciation is little same, because the receiver might be understood them in a wrong way. Similarly, while decoding the message, the receiver should try to interpret or analyze the meaning in the correct form. For this, they need to have, the receiver need to give feedback to the sender. So such kind of problems you may face, or you might have seen in your life also, such barriers to the effective communication. You might have seen, you might have, felt it. Faulty translation. Faulty translation. Translation means a person is there in between the sender and the receiver, and that person is going to give the message to the receiver, because the language of both the persons are different. Suppose if I want to communicate to somebody who is living like the one who lives in let's say in Tamil Nadu, then I don't know their language, then what will happen? I need to, like, I'll say something to the other person in Hindi only. The other person will translate. The translator will translate my words into his language, right? So that he can communicate to the other person in his language. अब suppose जो translator है, वो translator profession नहीं है. The translator doesn't have good command over their language. Like Tamil पर उसका अच्छा command नहीं है, तो होगा क्या? जो बात मैं कहना चाहती हूँ वो उस वे से उस पर्सन तक उसकी लैंग्वेज में नहीं पहुँच पाएगी, and it leads to barrier to the effective communication process. In your book they have written a language ki suppose the superior has sent a message to the subordinates in English. Now the subordinates they don't understand English, तो obviously एक person होगा जो English से हिंदी में message को translate करेगा और subordinates तक पहुंचाएगा. Now the suppose the one who is going to translate the message doesn't have good command over English language, then obviously he or she may not be able to understand the message well. अब अगर उसे ही समझ नहीं आया मैसेज, then how will he or she be able to communicate the message to the subordinates? So at times faulty translation can also be act as a barrier to the communication process. Next comes faulty translation. Faulty translation. Translation means a person is there in between the sender and the receiver, and that person is going to give the message to the receiver, because the language of both the persons are different. Suppose if I want to communicate to somebody who is living like the one who lives in let's say in Tamil Nadu, then I don't know their language, then what will happen? I need to, like, I'll say something to the other person in Hindi only, the other person will translate, the translator will translate my words into his language, right, so that he can communicate to the other person in his language. अब suppose जो translator है वो translator profession नहीं है, the translator doesn't have good command over their language, like तमिल पर उसका अच्छा command नहीं है, तो होगा क्या? जो बात मैं कहना चाहती हूँ वो उस वे से उस person तक उसकी language में नहीं पहुँच पाएगी, and it leads to barrier to the effective communication process. In your book they have written a language कि suppose the superior has sent a message to the subordinates in English. Now the subordinates they don't understand English, तो obviously एक person होगा जो English से हिंदी में message को translate करेगा और subordinates तक पहुंचाएगा. Now the suppose the one who is going to translate the message doesn't have good command over English language, then obviously he or she may not be able to understand the message well. अब अगर उसे ही समझ नहीं आया मैसेज, then how will he or she be able to communicate the message to the subordinates? So at times faulty translation can also be act as a barrier to the communication process. Now next is unclarified assumptions. Assumptions means sometimes the sender, the one who is sending the message, has some assumptions in his mind that his some orders will surely be clear to the subordinates in the same way he wants to say. Suppose if I want to say suppose if I say this thing to my subordinates, take care of goods. So what do I mean by this? I mean that they should take care of the quality of the goods. But what do they understand? उन्होंने क्या समझा? They understand that I am talking about to keep the goods safely. But I want to say that please take care of the quality of the goods. Similarly, one more example is there in your book itself. That is, like the boss may instruct his subordinates that take care of our foreign guests. So what do boss wants to say? The boss wants to say only this thing, that take care of their fooding, take care of their like whatever the needs, like whatever they are asking for, hospitality basically, right? But but the subordinates, they understood that the boss wants to say that drop the foreign guest to the hotel carefully. That's all. और उसके बाद कुछ मत करो. But superior क्या कहना चाहता है? Boss ये कहना चाहता है कि that you should take care of their all the needs. But subordinates ने क्या समझा कि just simply drop the guest at the hotel safely, properly. That's all. So such kind of assumptions, can prove to be a barrier in the process of communication. I want to say you something else, but you understand the things in some other way, right? So this can also be a problem. Like suppose if I say you tomorrow you have to be in proper uniform. I didn't explain much because I thought कि आपको पता ही होगा कि if it is Saturday you have to wear your house t-shirts. But as I didn't give much clarification because I thought that it is understood कि आप ये चीज़ तो समझ ही जाएंगे कि being in a proper uniform means आप डे देखिए कौन सा और उसके अकॉर्डिंगली आप प्रॉपर यूनिफॉर्म में आ जाएंगे. बट यू पीपल, what you people did, you people have wear the same uniform which you keep wearing on all the days except Saturday. तो means ऐसा problem भी आ सकता है. So this is known as unclarified assumptions. Next is technical words. See, sometimes the words used by the doctors, scientists, or engineers, those words are not clear to us because we are not familiar with those words, right? So, if we use such words in the messages, then it may create a barrier to the effective communication because we are not well versed with those words. The next is body language. Suppose if I am saying something to you, but my body language doesn't match with that. Suppose if I say this thing, that I am scolding you, but side by side I am smiling also. So you people may get confused, no, that whether she is in anger or she is in a good mood. So fine. So if your body language, अगर आपका body language match नहीं करता आपके content से which you are speaking, then it may also prove to be a communication barrier. Like one example they have taken in your book, that is, suppose at times you might have seen, no, you always say this thing to me that ma'am we have not done our work, and then what do I say? Great, right? So I am telling you this thing sarcastically, but you took it in a positive way. अब आप confused भी हो सकते हो. That great means for what she is saying great. That whether we have not done the work, so that's why she is saying great. Very good, आपने नहीं किया. But I am telling you in a sarcastic way कि fine, great if you have not done. So it means that unclarified assumptions कभी-कभी हो जाती हैं. कभी-कभी हमारा body language हमारे content से, हमारे message से match नहीं करता. So at times the receiver may get confused. So I hope these semantic barriers are clear to you. The first is badly expressed messages means poorly drafted message. The message is drafted in a wrong way because we have used wrong words, or the words which we should use we did not use. Then symbols with different meanings, like these words price, rain, right. So these, if we use such kind of words, then it may also lead to some communication barriers. Next is faulty translation. If the person who is translating our message to the receiver, if that person doesn't have the command over the language in which the sender is sending the messages, then obviously he may not be able to give the message in a proper way. Then unclarified assumptions that I have explained you. Like suppose if I say, if you have not done your work, I said great, but you might have understood in some other way. मीन्स जब एक सेंडर अपने माइंड में ये सोचकर मैसेज को ड्राफ्ट करता है कि रिसीवर इस चीज़ को तो ऑटोमेटिकली समझ जाएगा, दिस थिंग डजंट नीड एनी क्लैरिफिकेशन. इफ सच काइंड ऑफ assumption a sender has in his mind, then it may lead to some barriers in the process of communication. Next is technical words, that if while drafting the message, if we use such words which are not familiar to the receivers, then it may also create a problem. And last is the body language. If your non-verbal communication is not matched with your verbal communication, if what I'm saying is not matched with my body language, then it may create some confusion for the employees also. So this is the first barrier to communication, that is semantic barriers. Thank you. Yes, girls. Now let us start with the next barrier to communication, that is emotional barriers. Emotional barriers, they are also known as psychological barriers. These barriers are related to the state of mind of both the sender and the receiver. Like in what kind of state of mind they are, just because of their behavior, their state of mind, such barrier exists. Like suppose if a sender is in a bad mood, he is sad or he is worried, then obviously he will not be able to communicate, because when we are sad, we didn't feel like talking to anybody. No, we can't communicate our things well if we are sad. Similarly, if a person is in anger, then obviously he will not be able to understand the message, because when we are in anger, we don't want to listen to anyone. So it means if our state of mind is not neutral, then it may prove to be a barrier to the effective communication. So the first is premature evaluation. Sometimes what happens that we always make some assumptions regarding a person. Like suppose, let me put it formally through an example only. Suppose a person Ram is there, he works in a company, his superior always criticizes him. His superior, his boss never appreciates him. He has this notion in his mind that whatever good or how much good he can do, whatever good he want to do, or whatever good he does, he'll never get appreciation from his boss. One day he gave a presentation and that presentation was good and the boss wants to appreciate him. But Ram has this notion in his mind that his boss will never appreciate him. So what he does, he just left the room the moment he finishes with the presentation. It means that he has made this assumption in his mind regarding his boss that he is never going to appreciate him. So this is known as premature evolution. When we make some assumptions in our mind and we don't let other person to communicate freely. Next is lack of attention. Suppose if the person to whom the message we want to convey, if that person is not attentive, then obviously the entire process will fail. Suppose if I as a subordinate wants to give some suggestion for improvement or some innovative ideas to my boss, but my boss is not willing to listen to me, or he is busy in doing some his own task, he is busy in looking into some important files, then obviously what will I feel? I'll feel little embarrassed. I'll feel that it's of no use to say anything to that person because he's not going to understand. So it means if the receiver is not attentive, then it can also be lead to a barrier in the process of communication. Next is loss by transmission. Again, to an example, suppose the boss gives a message to a person Mohan that please inform all the department heads that there is a meeting today at 10 a.m. in the meeting hall. Now Mohan has passed messages to the in charge of finance department, marketing department and sales department. Now on the way he met a friend, fine, and he get busy in talking to his friend and he forgot to pass information to the other heads, like to the production manager or to the purchase manager. He he could not pass the message. He forgot to pass the message because he got busy in talking to his friend. So this is known as loss of transmission. When on the way any verbal message is passed and on the way there is loss of information due to the carelessness of the sender, it can also be a barrier to the effective communication. Next is distrust. Suppose two persons are working in an organization, they don't believe, like they don't have trust on each other. They feel that if that person is saying something new, surely it is a false information. So in this way, you can understand that this process will not be completed, because though he has given the information, but the one to whom information has been given believes that the person is not trustworthy. He is not going to trust on his words, so the entire process will be waste. Office where you are working, a policy is there that any sort of communication, if you want to have, then that. Now let's start with the next, that is organizational barriers. Organizational barriers means that such barriers we found in the company where we are working. Just because of the rules, policies of the company, we are facing such problems in the process of communication. Like first is policy. If the company where you are working in, one policy is there that every sort of communication will be in written only. Means if you want to communicate with anyone, then that communication should be in writing itself. It should be in black and white. Then obviously it will lead to delay in communication also. But as it is a policy and it leads to delay in communication, or the words which we have used in the message is poorly drafted, or the other person have not understood the words well, then it may lead to a barrier to the effective communication. It means at times the policies framed by the organization or the company can also prove to be a barrier. Next is rules. Suppose one rule has been set in the company where you are working that if you want to communicate to a person, then you always have to follow a proper hierarchy. You need to always follow a scalar chain. Then in that case, again, it is a strict rule. So whenever rules and regulations are there, rigidity comes in. And whenever rigidity is there, then sometimes the important information which you want to give or the information of emergency nature may reach to the person but very late. So in case of emergency situation, these rules and policies, they becomes a barrier to the effective communication. Next is status. Status is decided by your position in the organization. If you are working at a higher post, your status is high. If you are working at a lower post, your status is low. It means status is decided by your position in the organization. Now, a person who is working at a top level might not feel like talking to a person who is working at a lower level. He might not feel comfortable, and a person who is working at lower level may also be little, can also be little hesitant in talking to a person who is at top level. So in that case, what will they communicate? They will communicate only important facts, and that too in that too in concise and in brief. Precise information only will be passed. Detailed information or detailed communication will not take place, so no understanding will be there. So at times it may leads to a barrier to effective communication. Next is, see, when you don't have any suggestion box, complaint box, or when you don't hold regular meetings, then it can leads to a lot of communication gap between the top level management and the lower level management. So such organizational facilities or such things on the part of organization, like they don't have any suggestion box, or they never talk to their employees, or they never hold any meetings so that they can have some one-to-one conversation with the employees, can leads to a barrier to the effective communication. And then when we have so many, and like whenever the channel of communication is too large, no, whenever the scalar chain is too large, then in that case we are like, we always present the things in short form, in precise, in brief, and we are going to pass on only that message in which we are showing all our goods and we hide all our bads. It means that complexity in the managerial process, or you may say the scalar chain is too large. In that case, what a subordinate will do? A subordinate will, as if first of all he is hesitant in talking to the superior, then what is going to do? He is going to pass only a precise message, short message, in which he is going to highlight only the main facts, which will show all the goods and will hide all the bads. So in that case it can prove, so in that case incomplete information will reach to the boss, and it can prove to be a barrier to effective communication. So I hope these 2 points are clear to you. Now next is individual barriers. Individual barriers, they are related to sender as well as to the receiver, and it's just because of their personal nature, personal factors. Like suppose fear of challenge. If a person feels that if he will share this information with his superior, then obviously he may lose his control from the organization, or he may lose his power from the organization. So in that case, what he is going to do? He is going to suppress that important information. He is not going to share that information with the with his boss. So it means it's lead to fear of challenge. Next is lack of confidence. If a superior doesn't have confidence, or like in his subordinates, if a boss doesn't have confidence in his employees, then obviously he will never welcome the ideas or the suggestion given by the employees to him. So in that case, he will never show his trust and faith on them, and he will never welcome the good ideas and even the innovative ideas. So it may lead to a barrier to the process of communication. Next is unwillingness to communicate. Now on the contrary, if the subordinate feels that they'll not get any kind of appreciation or reward even for sharing a good or an innovative idea, then they'll try, or then they'll choose to keep their mouth shut. They never discuss their problems, or they will never come up with good ideas or suggestion if they feel that there is no motivation, or their ideas are not welcomed, or they are not going to get any kind of appreciation or recognition. Then in that case they become unwilling to communicate with this superior, with the superiors. Then lack of proper incentives. Just like this point only, if there is no motivation, whether it is a monetary incentives or non-monetary incentives, if there is no motivation of that sort, then obviously no employee will try to come up with some new ideas, because they know that even if they are going to give some good ideas, nobody is going to give them extra pay, some salary, some bonus, some commission, some appreciation or some praise. Or at times they are not willing to communicate because they feel because they have fear in their mind of getting some scoldings from their employees, from their superiors, or from the fear of getting demoted if the ideas if the ideas turn wrong. Then also they become like they become unwilling to share the ideas, or they become unwilling to communicate, and this leads to the barrier to the effective communication. So this is the most simplest topic I feel, students. So now just I hope these things are clear to you. Emotional, organizational and individual barriers, all these barriers, they are the obstacles in the process of effective communication. They don't let the communication process to complete effectively. So we should try to remove such barriers so that the process of communication should be free flow. So I hope all these things are clear to you. Thank you.